Hello and welcome to My Mom's Basement, presented by Barstool Sports, and a very special, extra spectacular edition of My Mom's Basement with Robbie and Clem. We are recapping Daredevil, Invincible, and The Boys this week, and I don't know what we did to deserve such great shows running at the same time. Well, I guess I do know what we did. We recapped a lot of shows we didn't like half as much as these. But Clem, we're in a good zone. It's a great week to be a nerd.
Yeah, we had the free swims. So those free swims was us like, and listen, I like the free swims, but that's eating your yellow Starburst. So you have a lot of red and pinks later. It's like You're saving up the big content, which is just not reacting to trailers. We're reacting to the real stuff. So we got this for one more week, which, Bob, save those adjectives because we have a season finale coming up. So next week, use that thesaurus there because I feel like we might have some big words to use for next week's episode.
An outrageous extravaganza of spectacular proportion or something like that. You know, I'll keep it rolling. I do the Michael Scott every week where I'm like, I'm starting this. I don't know where it's ending, but I'll find an ending.
I'll find it.
We're also talking a little bit of news this week. We had CinemaCon, which has become this huge industry. It's almost like an inter-industry Comic-Con because this isn't available to watch for the public, and they're not even allowed to like take pictures and videos, the journalists that are actually at CinemaCon. So we have descriptions of trailers and little trinkets of news that came out. Quick basement keeping off the top. We did an episode of Mall Shadow Lord recaps with Jace this week, Jace being the Telluride Bush general manager. Very fun episode. So if you're looking for the Mall Shadow Lord content, it's on the channel already. And the Super Critics this week with Clemmer is Dick Tracy, which was, as a kid, one of my favorite movies. Have you seen Dick Tracy, Clem?
I probably haven't seen it since the theater, but I did see it. Yep.
I absolutely loved it to the point where I made Mama Fox one year for Christmas. I was only into Dick Tracy. So I was like, I want Dick Tracy toys. She was like, well, it's like 2004, 2005. They made the toys in 1990. So she had to go on eBay and get all the figures, and she put them in a Dick Tracy lunchbox for me. It was one of the best Christmases ever. But it just brought back so many great memories. I love this movie. If you haven't seen it and you're a comic book fan, I would call it a must-watch because it's like the most stylized comic book movie ever. They literally use only 7 colors and don't change the tone of them at all. So everyone's wearing the same kind of bright, vibrant colors. Al Pacino got a friggin' Oscar nomination for it. The cast is insane. It's Al Pacino. It's Dick Van Dyke. It's Catherine O'Hara. It's Madonna. It's James Caan. The list goes on and on. Check it out. Super Critics this week.
Yeah, I was very interested to see if it held up. I remember when it came out, it was a big deal. And obviously off the Batman 89, it was the whole comic book thing. And this is a much different comic movie, whatever you want to call it. And then I also felt like they thought there was going to potentially be like a franchise that came out of it that obviously never came. So
I think there should be now. That was one of my main points on Super Critics. And Clemmer was like, well, it's a comic strip from the friggin' 20s and 30s and a movie made in 1990. Like nobody my age has a connection to this unless you had an older brother or a dad that passed it down on you like this. But I'm like, you cast John Hamm as Dick Tracy, I'm fucking there.
That's the thing. John Hamm. Ooh, I think Bobby might have something there,
right?
To be fair to Clemmer, he remembers growing up reading the comic strips as they came out. And I could say that he was probably like 2 years older than me. For some reason, I know the age jokes bother him, so I had to say that.
All right, so CinemaCon, we had a bunch of fun stuff. I'm just gonna kind of rattle off a bunch of things. Nolan and Spielberg both had presentations for The Odyssey and Disclosure Day. For Disclosure Day, they straight up showed an alien. They were like, Spielberg said, I didn't show anything from the third act in marketing, but then they showed an alien in the trailer. So I'm like, what the fuck is the third act going to be if you're willing to show aliens? And Nolan went up and was like, I'm happy I don't have to follow Spielberg because he was, I think maybe right before him, just kings respecting kings. And he showed the first 5 minutes of The Odyssey, or maybe just 5 minutes. It was mostly the Trojan horse sequence, which we've seen if you've seen like an IMAX trailer for The Odyssey already. But 2 movies that I'm obviously super excited for. And Godzilla -0, the sequel to -1, got a mini teaser put out where we see Godzilla walking over the Statue of Liberty. I don't know what these kaiju have against the Statue of Liberty. It's Godzilla, it's Cloverfield. They all hate this motherfucker. I also don't know why Godzilla's in New York. If he was in Japan and then they're doing nuclear testing in New York, so he's drawn to the radiation. How'd he get around the continent? How'd he swim? This guy's been swimming since the last movie.
That's because like flying to Japan, it's not an easy task to do. Did he read about the Manhattan Project and it's like, let me go to Manhattan?
Must have. He must have read about it.
And he has the brain to dissect that kind of stuff and know where Manhattan is on a map. I thought that was very odd as well. Listen, it's like, I'm going to reserve my rights for the movie. Very excited for the movie, right? I loved
of course.
-1. Does feel weird and like. At some point, you just like Cloverfield did this already, and I drafted in the movie posters draft. It was such a big moment.
They also said that it's following the same characters from the first one, which I found interesting. If he's coming to New York, is it like there's only like 6 people that know how to kill Godzilla? We got to get them to New York. Like, I don't know how they're gonna follow it because the doctor's back, not the doctor, but like the scientist, and he was awesome in that movie. And then like the main family's back. So I don't know how they're going to weave them into the story and also put Godzilla in New York. But I am excited. I'd follow this director into friggin' whatever at this point.
Follow him to New York with Godzilla.
Yeah. He's also making another movie that's produced by J.J. Abrams, and they described it as Transformers with a Cloverfield aesthetic. And I was like, all right, sold. Take my money now.
All right, we'll see. Is Godzilla just the petty king, and he like learned that this family moved to New York? It's like, I'm gonna go terrorize them even more. There's not a lot of ways it's gonna make sense, but again, when the giant fucking frost, what is it? Did he breathe frost or is it nuclear breath?
It's like nuclear shit. Yeah.
When that is on the screen, you just let it fly and let the chips fall as they may. So that was something I wasn't expecting to get. So I am very excited for that.
We also got the first 7 minutes of Dune 3 shown at CinemaCon. And again, we didn't see any of this, just the people in attendance. Everyone in attendance had basically the same takeaway. They said it's sci-fi Saving Private Ryan. That's what everyone was saying.
So are we talking the first like 7 minutes of Saving Private Ryan?
I think so. Someone walking around holding their arm, being like, oh my God.
Not ready for it. I'm happy. This was a trigger warning I needed. This is when the CinemaCons of the world are very important to us. I don't need to see that, but I need to be mentally prepared for that. We might do like the closed eyes, hands over face, or like look at the top of the screen.
The old Trent, you pull the hoodie drawstring like you're Kenny from South Park.
Yes. When that many people said Saving Private Ryan, I'm like, fuck. There's not a lot of unless they're like Zed's basement in Pulp Fiction. There's not a lot of movie scenes I fear more than seeing that just out of nowhere in your face.
Yeah. Finally got some stuff from Beyond the Spider-Verse. New stills released. All of the stills look unbelievable as always from this studio. And Clayface was also presented. Everyone's saying this is a straight up horror movie. And at the end of it, he's like in the bathtub and he just wipes his face away. His face like falls off in the bathtub. It's Mike Flanagan written, so we know it's going to get scary. But they were telling us this is like for real horror, not just like, it's a PG-13, a little scary. They're like, this is going to scare the shit out of people.
I've already put the call in to you, and I put it all into the bullpen. That might be an Eddie review, since Eddie is a famous horror lover. Horror. I want to make sure that comes so clear. I feel like the extra OR was lost in potentially translation there. Horror lover, and I am terrified of this stuff.
Yeah.
I was scared of The Last of Us because I thought it was horror and ended up not being as bad. I feel like this might be the opposite, where everyone's going, oh, maybe a little bit of like horror like elements, and then they're like, oh, the dude wiped his face off.
It's straight up body horror. They're comparing it to The Fly or The Substance. And I know I don't think those movies are super up your alley. So I said, very willing to have you make the tag to your tag team partner at the corner, and Eddie jumps in for a Clayface review. Also, we love, introducing new things to Eddie when we show him Star Wars for the first time or something. Getting him into the DC universe a little bit with Clayface. I don't know how familiar he is already with, the inner workings of Batman's like B-tier rogues gallery and whatnot, but I think that'll be fun. And that's a review that'll probably come like the week after it comes out, or maybe even a week and a half or 2 weeks after it comes out. It's my wedding week. So you're going to have to give us some patience on that one, please.
Big time in the Fox countdown. I can't believe we're already here. That was like exciting news. We said, wait a minute, pretty sure this is my wedding weekend, which again, gives me time to like maybe like piecemeal myself into watching that movie in 6 different movies. Like, all right, I'm ready for more. I'm ready for more after whatever I'm about to get in the fucking first 7 minutes of Dune later in the year. So I'm not sure what's about to come. I don't know, Bob. What do you think about does Bruce Wayne know this Clayface? I'm just gonna do my Eddie impersonations.
Or he's gonna have the same takeaway he had with Yoda and be like, I would live with this guy. This guy would be a good tenant if I was his landlord.
Basement tenant, no less.
I can't do it either. I can't do the Eddie. Aegon's Conquest was officially confirmed. We pretty much knew this was coming, and they just threw it on the slate for 2027 and beyond. We got Spaceballs 2 footage shown, and people are pretty stoked about it. People said it was the funniest trailer showed at CinemaCon, and it featured like Na'vi jokes. It featured sequel trilogy jokes. There was BB-8 jokes. They said Pizza the Hut has, I think, baby pizza, which is just a slice of pizza instead. Rick Moranis was on stage, apparently got one of the biggest ovations of the entire event, 30 years away from live action acting. People are just stoked to see this. I'm stoked to see this. They are not calling it Spaceballs 2, The Search for More Money, which I was like, damn, why aren't they sticking with that title? But then Mel Brooks put out a video and he's like, because we found the money. This is the new one. So we're calling it the new one. And I was like, all right, sold.
When I saw that was the name of it, I forgot The Search for More Money was the original name. The new one, I'm like, that's perfect. Because
it's very Spaceballs.
And come on, I remember back when like all these names get released, we're like, oh my God, here it is. What does it mean? Right? So it is kind of funny that they did that. So I like that.
We also got a casting this week, and she appeared on stage at CinemaCon, introduced as the newest part of the DC universe, Adria Arjona, aka Bix from Andor, the casting that everyone has wanted for months as Wonder Woman. We are hearing she was cast as Maxima in Man of Tomorrow, although some scoopers and journalists out there are going Maxima with quotations, which makes me think that's a cover and she actually is cast as Wonder Woman. I kind of hope she is. That's the, casting that we all wanted. Maxima's a cool character also. Don't get me wrong. Like, bringing Maxima into live action, I think is the right choice. Like, do that eventually. But I don't think they're doing it here. I think she's actually Wonder Woman.
This does feel like, I'm looking at Maxima here. She's like she kind of looks like a Superman where she can fly. She's a redhead. You have someone that looks exactly like fucking Wonder Woman. And everyone wants her to be Wonder Woman, because then the Wonder Woman actress, when she comes inevitably, then has to face, our Bubba Bix. Like she'll compare the two, and Bubba Bix never even played Wonder Woman, so it was like, oh, she would have been perfect. She would have been perfect. And anything the other one does wrong, as we know, with comic fans, I'm not going to say DC fans, comic movie fans, it's impossible to please them. So just give us fucking. And if you know what, if it doesn't work out, we'll take the hate. You can just retcon her to Maxima. Do whatever you want.
Come after MMB. We'll take it. We'll take the views. We'll take the engagement. We'll take the comments.
Send that motherfucker Corn Sweat here. I have a couple things to get off my chest.
Oh, Corn Sweat's playing John Puggle too at CinemaCon. I sent that to you. And then I asked a couple of people in the office, like, hey, what do you think of it? Because I'm unfamiliar with the story. I don't really know anything about that guy. And everyone in the office was like, I don't know anything about that guy. So is this a weird movie that they're making?
So for the people that don't know, because I didn't know the guy's name at all, but he plays the guy who was the original name, the Mr. Irrelevant, which is the last pick in the NFL draft. So I've heard the name Mr. Irrelevant. I think it's a funny name. It's like fun, whatever. And then every year, if you were the last person taken, you get like some sort of I don't know if it was a shirt or like a trophy
gift
or whatever.
Something.
Yeah. And the thing is, it's like, you're Mr. Irrelevant. There's also like a billion people who are undrafted free agents who don't get drafted and become NFL. You're in the NFL. And this is the thing about Mr. Irrelevant. Brock fucking Purdy was Mr. Irrelevant a few years ago. And now he made it to the Super Bowl, almost won a Super Bowl. So Mr. Irrelevant is like, I don't know. I'm excited to see if it's a good movie more than anything.
Yeah.
It's a cool idea. And it was like, everyone always like thought it was such a mean thing to say. But again, Mr. Irrelevant's better than someone who didn't get drafted. And even if you didn't get drafted, you could be fucking awesome. There's so many awesome undrafted free agents. So cool thing. Good for Corn Sweat. Happy for him.
We're getting this in the Madden movie not too far apart. Are they building out the NFL cinematic universe?
Yeah, the NFL CU. Wow. I didn't even think about that, Bob.
Someone from Draft Day gets mentioned, like JFK at the end of Oppenheimer, then they're like, and you got to wait out for
putting together.
And then I threw this on the list for you specifically. I don't even know if it was CinemaCon specific. I think it was attached because it's the same week and everything. But the Street Fighter trailer was put out for the public today, like a longer trailer than we've gotten. I think it looks pretty damn good as a non-Street Fighter fan myself. Like, I grew up again playing Mortal Kombat. I don't know really anything about Street Fighter. My brother, who loves Street Fighter, is very excited for it. How do you feel after seeing this trailer?
So I watched it. It starts with one of my favorite Tupac songs, Ambitions as a Rider, except they changed the rider to fighter because it's Street Fighter. And then they end it with What's Up by Four Non Blondes. And I'm like, what is going on with this in the street? But I think it's exactly what they're trying to do. I'm a 90s kid. Those two songs were part of my childhood, huge parts, what Street Fighter 2 was as well. Those characters look so like realistic to like their characters, like almost to the absurd sense in like Balrog and Guile. And then with those castings where you have 50 Cent and you got Cody Rhodes, like they know exactly what they're doing. This could be, it's like, it's almost feels like they're just reaching in millennials' pockets and taking their wallet out. And they're just trying to get our money. Hey, fair enough. If we take the kids with us, because a lot of us have kids at this point, that's how you make money. This movie, I think there's two ways it can go. Well, three ways. One, just like absolutely forgettable. No one even mentions it again. Two, super fun surprise movie of the year, whatever you want to call it. Or it's going to be absolutely positively terrible. I think those are the only paths. And after the trailer, I still don't know where we stand. That's the best part about it. But hey, I loved the casting stuff. I love the trailer. And I'm just having fun here, man. There's enough shitty stuff in the world today as it is. Just embrace this stuff like that you at least like. Seems like they're going for it, and it could be absolutely abysmal, but I'm excited. So after that, I am just as excited, if not more so, than I was beforehand. I'm trying to think who else is in because the cast is out of this. It's outrageous.
Yeah, it's Andrew Schultz, Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns. There's a UFC fighter, Alexander Volkanovski, 50 Cent, obviously. I think
Momoa.
Is Andrew Santino in it too, or am I confusing him with Andrew Schultz? I don't know.
I'm pretty sure Schultz is in it. Schultz is in it. Eric Andre's in it.
Yep, Eric Andre.
Kyle Mooney's in it. These are some people I didn't even know were in it at this. They weren't interesting with like the comedians and then like the fighters, like you said, the wrestlers, the UFC guys, 50 Cent, rapper. Momoa is obviously like a big time action star. The guy who plays my guy, I believe it's pronounced Ryu, but I always said Ryu, Andrew Koji. Yeah. I really don't know him from much, but I feel like he's going to play a huge role as Ryu in the movie. So it's exciting. They also are kind of leaning into like the kind of sexualized version of it a little bit, Chun-Li, and they're talking about thighs and Cammy's wearing Cammy's clothes. But as a Street Fighter guy, I'm excited. Mortal Kombat 2 is like on its way out too, right?
I think it is. I didn't like the first movie. I really wanted to like it, and I really didn't, unfortunately. But I'll give the second one a shot, of course. And this I'll definitely give a shot. Like, I think what you're saying, like they're embracing the absurdity in a way where they're not taking themselves too seriously, but they're taking themselves just seriously enough. Like I feel like it's riding that line really well so far. And I don't know if the movie will deliver on that, but like as a non-Street Fighter guy, I'm like, that looks like a fun movie I'd go see.
Perfectly said. And so I just looked it up. May 8th is Mortal Kombat 2, which the amount of buzz they're getting doesn't feel like a good thing. It's less than a month away and didn't even know if it was coming out. I wish they put these movies out the same day. I would do the Barb and Iron on these so fucking hard. I would have the time of my life. And
then you build to Mortal Kombat versus Street Fighter and you do the Godzilla Kong thing. That'd be awesome.
Maybe what I'll do is I'll like drive to the movies, watch Mortal Kombat 2 on my phone for the first time, and then go to the Street Fighter movie to do my own like piecemeal version of it.
Yeah. And I wanted to mention this before we move on to Daredevil and the show recaps, but post news. I did Wake Up Barstool this week with Dave, and the Disney Boys came up and we started talking about the Disney Boys. And Dave was like, yeah, we got to do that for your bachelorette or your bachelor party, right? I almost said bachelorette, bachelor party. And I was like, oh yeah. I said, I felt, bad while you were writing your book 10 hours a day to be like, hey, when are you taking me and my buddies to Disney again? So I didn't bring it up. And he goes, oh no, if you get someone taking the lead on that, I'll definitely go. So immediately I texted our pal, Jeff D-Lo, and I said, take the lead on this.
Jeff D.
So stay tuned, everybody. Yeah.
I will say this. Before we went live on a show, I did talk to Jeff about this. He's leading from the front. Good. He's trying to figure out what works best because he's like, well, they don't like rides. And I think by they means Dave mostly. And obviously you as well. And I'm like,
too kind of like we didn't do as many rides. Yeah.
But I pushed back gently. I said, like, we got to go on some rides at Disney.
Of course.
I'm just saying,
we did like the fun. We did the Pirates and we did that Avatar one. We did the friggin' Star Wars rides. I just don't like, I don't think you and me like the loop-de-loops.
Coasters, I think coasters are out. Because listen, I know Dave doesn't like Slinky Dog. And I think Slinky Dog has to be.
But I feel like that might have to be a tradition now.
But I feel like we lost Dave at Slinky Dog. We lost you at Guardians of the Galaxy. So we can't do that one again. So I do think there is but I think you have to hit the Star Wars ride. Like, absolutely.
We have to ride the Falcon again. Like, come on. We have to be on. And Rise of the Resistance. Like, we got to do those ones.
And
even
then I was
Star
like,
Wars. That one took me out, but I'll take a Dramamine.
I was like, are we doing Cali? But then he's like, it probably makes sense to stay in Florida for Dave. I think this all started, we were hoping to do the Coco ride, but I don't think that comes out till next year. Dave's love of Coco is one of my favorite things in the world.
That came up on Wake Up Barstool right away as well.
Mama Coco, all-time character.
All right, let's get into Daredevil. Daredevil Born Again, Season 2, Episode 5. Crazy ending to last week, obviously. We talked about this potentially being a flashback episode, and that was delivered on. So we got a ton of flashbacks that wrap up things with Daredevil Season 1. We're seeing Murdoch and Foggy together, and that's great. We get their dynamic again. We see a lot of early Vanessa stuff. I thought this was tremendous. I loved this episode start to finish. A lot of people are calling it the closest thing we've seen to the original Netflix show in terms of tone and the way it was shot and everything. I think I kind of agree. And I'm out on the people that say like Born Again never even touches the lowest level of the Daredevil show. As I've said here, I think the best Daredevil Born Again stuff is pretty similar to the maybe not the best Netflix stuff, but it's really good Netflix stuff. Like, I think they're closer than many people are willing to believe. But this episode was so good, dude. Even the non-flashback stuff, the stuff we got between Buck and Daniel in this episode was so good. I thought the stuff between Daniel and BB again in this episode. I'm loving Michael Gandolfini showing his range in this. One scene we're afraid for BB, the next scene we're afraid for him.
That was wild. Yeah,
it's an interesting dynamic they've got going with them, but I do feel like this is building to potentially powder keg about to explode at the end of the season.
The powder kegs last season, I felt like they were bigger and in different big buildings or big parts of New York. Feels like the powder kegs are now people. The people have become powder kegs.
They're internal powder kegs.
Walking, talking, breathing powder kegs. Speaking of breathing, our boy Daniel, he breathed just like his dad. That was James Gandolfini, late seasons of Sopranos breathing there. And I kind of had like a Sopranos flashback listening to it all. Speaking of
hard not to see that in his face. Again, I don't want to be the guy that's constantly comparing him to his dad because he's going to get that for the rest of his career. But how do you not, when you see the facial reactions, it's like, well, that's the son of Tony Soprano right there. Of course it is.
When he's doing the lean forward with the face down and the heavy breathing, that is Tony's signature. It's just how it is. You're going to have him doing other stuff. If you don't want me to mention it on the goddamn podcast, I'm sorry. Speaking of the Sopranos, you know what I called this episode? It was the Vanessa Finnerty episode. It was like Tony's coma, wasn't it?
It was. I thought that in the beginning when it first like sends it off and she's talking about the white painting. That's, the famous Kingpin painting. In my mind, I'm thinking this could be a flashback, or we could see Kingpin walk into the room right now and it's almost an alternate, Tony kind of coma dream type thing. It wound up being the flashbacks, but I think they could have taken it in either direction and it probably would have worked.
Yeah, exactly. So then once I saw it, I was like, oh, okay, this is, about when she met him and all that kind of stuff. But I did love it. I was like, man, this is fucking too fucking freaky. Vanessa Finnerty. When she was alive, I was like, what the fuck? I thought
couldn't believe that. And that was another thing where I was like, is she really alive? Is this like going to be revealed? This is what Kingpin hopes is happening. Like, and then in the back of my mind, I hate to say it, but I was like really hoping that she was going to be dead by the end of the episode because I don't like she's dead. No, she's not. She's dead. No, she's not. Like, I like the stakes. I like this being Kingpin. Again, the wild card is about to come out. I even love when Powell walks in the beginning. Kingpin has such a good line where he's like, listen, I want him just as bad as you do, sir. And he says, no, you don't. You couldn't. And he says, I want him alive. I think Powell's ass is on the chopping block at this point because Powell can't stop fucking up and getting in his own way. He's not really doing much good for Kingpin this season. He's doing a lot, but it's not working.
That is a good point, actually. I didn't think about that. Yeah.
His head being the one that gets crushed by Kingpin this season.
I'm with you. This sounds really bad. I killed the fictional dog in WandaVision. We did all this kind of stuff. I was like, unfortunately, that nice young lady has to die for this, not even show, but this character to get where I want him to get. I think we get Mayor and he's playing his games and that could go on for a while. I need Wildcard Fist coming back out. And unfortunately, I don't think that pedal can hit the metal unless he's in vengeance mode, vengeance mode.
Yeah. And listen, Vanessa wasn't a saint herself. Come on.
Vanessa was anything.
She put the hit on Foggy, Come on. The Foggy stuff in this episode I liked a lot too. Like, as someone that hasn't seen the Netflix show, did the dynamic come through right away? Like, it felt like for, us, I feel like the Netflix fans, which I wasn't a diehard Netflix fan originally. I caught up before this, but it felt like a return to form. It was like, oh, nice to see our pals back together. It was like a reunion special almost. They're talking about feet, like Matt Murdock's at the feet. I was like, what the fuck is going on? Right? But that was their dynamic. They talk about whatever. They're boys. Did you take it as like, oh, this is awesome?
I mean, Foggy just seems like a really good dude. Seems like a good lawyer, good dude. Guy keeps calling him a fembot, and he just keeps bouncing, keeps letting it bounce off him, even though it hurts him. You can see him wearing those bullets as he's taking them. So, I dug it, and if that's what the show was like, I can understand why people do enjoy the show.
It was a lot like that. It was a lot, and people were trashing the Charlie Cox wig he was wearing during the flashbacks. I thought it was a fine wig. I didn't have any issue with that.
I mean, if you want to complain about it in this world. Now, this is my question to you. If you're Foggy and you're reading those files and you see it's 436 and a half or whatever.
And a half, yeah.
Do you free the criminal, even though, he's trying to cut you loose? You know him. He's actually kind of a scumbag. Yeah. I as I'm watching at the end, he kind of looked like Nicky Smokes, the guy's face. Like,
I didn't even notice that.
Yeah. If you rewatch it, and his hair is like Nicky's hair. And I was like, holy shit, it's Smokes. I was like, Smokes, What are you doing? He got into the wrong road.
I can see that.
Up.
Listen, if it's Nicky Smokes, I'm freeing him. I'm letting him go. If it's this guy Lionel, it was a good moral dilemma. I thought it was because it had me kind of moving back and forth, and I was on both their sides where it's like, listen, what our job is to follow the rules of the law. Like, we're not in the business of picking and choosing here. It's they got this wrong, so we should free him. And then on the other hand, it's like, but if we free him, something bad can happen in the world. Like, are we putting a bad man out on the streets? I thought that was a good dynamic, especially to have the parallel of, can we work with Bullseye? When you're going back and forth and Matt's saving him, and he has that great line to Bullseye, such a fucking Matt Murdock Daredevil line where he's like, I'm trying to save you because I tried to kill you. I lost sight of myself that night on the roof. Like, that monologue, that little line he had, I was like, oh, that's so perfect for Matt Murdock and his character. If I'm Foggy, I gotta be honest, or if I'm Matt, I don't think I bring it up. I don't think I have it in me.
That's the thing. I mean, the justice statues, it's, blind, and the scales, you can't be looking at the scales and tipping them. You got to kind of go with what you
and I think I'm tipping the scales. I think,
but in the end,
I say I never saw the half. I don't know.
And in the end, I feel like they say it's kind of the right move, right? I don't know if this guy will come back and it's like, he's like,
I know, I was thinking that too.
Child murder or something.
Is it going to come back and he's fucking Joe Chill and he fucking kills someone that means a lot to us? And it's like, well, that's why we never should have let him out.
Yeah.
But I don't I thought it was good. It was fucking heavy, adult, like that. That's kind of Marvel themes that I like them tackling, where it does start to make you think, and who's the good guy? Who's the bad guy? What should we do here? It feels elevated, especially off some of the shows that we have recapped here, where they're sort of surface level.
Agreed. And I do understand now why Daredevil is choking Bullseye every time he said Foggy's name. You say the name.
Don't say that name.
That's the F word. Don't be saying the F word.
The stuff again with the painting was good. Vanessa was fleecing Fisk all along. She's like, fucking put a couple extra zeros on this. Some sucker will buy this. Winds up being him right in his Bitcoin era too. Hearing him deliver the line, "Are you familiar with Bitcoin?" in that voice. Oh, my TV just turned on. Oh my God, I got to turn this off. Hold on.
Bob's dropping Bitcoin. It's the turn on TV word is Bitcoin.
I got ghosts in my apartment all of a sudden. The ghost of Vanessa was like, "Don't talk about my man like that." But hearing that, seeing Wesley, that was Buck before Buck was British Buck. It was Wesley. Seeing him in it, I liked that. a lot of this stuff was good. One of my lines just says, Murdoch into feet. Hey, yo.
That was like the crazy kink back in the day, right? And now I feel like feet is almost like
probably in the era that they were pretending it, was or whatever, 10 years ago or whatever. We learned more about Buck doing night raids in Afghanistan and, him positioning himself with Daniel as someone to be feared. And Daniel the whole time, Daniel thinking about leaving when Buck goes into the store, I thought was a good tense scene where I was like, is he going to fucking leave right now? Is he going to drive away? And then he doesn't have it in him. BB, the stuff with her leaking the critical condition news to the press as soon as he gives it to her was just like, Daniel, what are you doing? What do you think is going to happen? I know he's a little hard eyes. He's love struck for her or whatever, but he immediately tells her that. It's like, it's on the news 20 seconds later, dude.
And our boy, again, going back to the Sopranos, our boy Tony, he liked to, mix it up with all different kind of women. But once like business was a problem, he just fucking ended that shit. And I think that was BB. That was a huge mistake by her. And I think that will be the last leak she gets through him, right? I think he now knows.
What's more likely, him getting to her in a negative, possibly violent way, or Kingpin getting to Daniel in the same way? I think it's Kingpin getting to Daniel. I think it will almost be Beauty that killed the Beast. They'll do one of those things. Nice. Well, King Kong reference for you? That was my second King Kong reference.
Look at you,
Bob. King Kong ain't got shit on me. Ho, hit the three. Matt bringing Bullseye back to Karen, and then he has that great line where he says, Fisk will turn the city upside down and shake it to find them. I love just the visualization of that, the imagery. Yeah, turning it upside down. Mentions a nurse that he knows, possibly Rosario Dawson making her return. We found out this week she might even be in Spider-Man Brand New Day. I don't know if we'll get her by the end of the season. I would think mentioning the nurse in season 2, we will. But like Jessica Jones, they put it right out in the trailer. They didn't really try to keep, Foggy a secret in this season. That would be a good one if they snuck that under wraps and we didn't know. I guess she was on a soundstage at some point shooting Ahsoka. I think that was overseas, though. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, Claire, I guess, is her name. I didn't know about all this stuff, but I did see people say after this episode, I think they're alluding to Claire. And then on Twitter today, I saw Claire is going to be in Spider-Man, which, again, Bob, if you had a bet, would you say Daredevil will be in Spider-Man, considering characters from his show are reportedly in Spider-Man?
At this point, I don't know. I don't even know if I would bet it because I think the line is minus 10,000, and I'd have to bet crazy amount of money to see anything in return. Daredevil is in Spider-Man, no doubt. I told you right before we started recording. Someone went up to him at Comic-Con and they had him sign a mask, and they said, "Oh, I'm so excited to see you in Spider-Man with the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man." And he was like, I wish, man. And I said, I appreciate the kayfabe, but we see right through it, just like we saw through Andrew Garfield before No Way Home.
I mean, I was going to say, put the thumbnail as breaking Daredevil in Spider-Man. But I think people just hit us with a no duh. It wouldn't even get any clicks.
Yeah.
Like, we've known this. It's an announced thing.
I like the Goodfellas shot from the trunk when it's revealed that, hey, you're going to bury the body. You're not going to be the one getting buried. That was a good shot. Vanessa waking up was crazy. Fisk's voice when she wakes up, it goes up like 3 octaves. He's almost like puppy dog voice where he's like, oh my God, what can I get you? Oh my God. And I thought that was really well played by D'Onofrio. She wants the pineapple juice with the ice, but it makes her lips tingle. He tells her that. So you could tell she's not all there right now. It also makes my lips tingle. People forget that about me. I'm allergic to all fruit. So certain things, pineapple specifically, does make my lips tingle. Maybe I got the same thing as Vanessa. And she tells Fisk, oh, you paid 3 times the listing price for that. They're laughing. They're joking. She's asking for stories. He's telling her stories about they met. And we see the flashback earlier, them on the beach and everything. And then something goes wrong. And she dies. Right in Fisk's arms, basically. It could have been the pineapple juice. Who knows? People are saying that. I don't think it was the pineapple juice, guys. I don't think that actually killed her. But this was just a great way to string Fisk along for an extra episode. You gave us great flashback content, but for the actual character purpose of him not losing her right away in the ring and him having the false hope and spending the day with her in the hospital, I thought was brilliant.
Yeah, because we thought that he was going to be a dog unleashed just because she died, and boom, we're hitting the ground running. The fact they brought her back and he almost loses her all, and he then does lose her all over again with the voice change. So we got to see a side of him we've never seen, which they said even in the old Netflix series, you never heard that voice. That is something that our boy Vinny D was kind of just keeping for himself. That's his wife in real life voice. It's not for the public consumption. So the fact that you broke that out I think that was a good call by you. And I think that was not by mistake. So I thought we were going to get a 51st Dates kind of Vanessa, where she was just going to keep asking how they met, or just asking like the same question over. Just keeps drinking pineapple juice, which is terrible for her. But yeah, I think in the end that will make him even more crazier than it would have if she had just died that night when she died.
No Charles, no Heather Glenn. No Heather Glenn in the last 2 episodes as well. So she might be out there doing fucking weird shit with that Muse mask at this point. Who knows? And Mr. Charles, who knows? Well, he's speaking of wild cards. He's the biggest wild card we got right now. We don't know what the hell's going on with Mr. Charles.
Listen, I understand you're not a good guy, Mr. Charles, but as a Mr. Charles fan, I'm just going to say this. Tread lightly with Kingpin right now. Again, I didn't realize I didn't say Mayor Fisk. This ain't Mayor Fisk no more. I think next time we see him, it's the Kingpin's back out. Might have the suit on. Might throw a couple LBs on to really hammer it home, get the cane. Yep. This is Dr. K is out now.
Yeah, he might be in that zone where he's like, I got to build a super collider to find a Vanessa in another we might be getting into the Spider-Verse level desperation Kingpin. I'm excited though. I'm excited for the next couple for sure. Cause again, everyone's just been saying the final 3 of the season, the final 2 of the season, like it just keeps revving up, stepping on the gas. So who knows? We'll hit fucking 120 by the end of the season or something.
Great Scott.
Before we get into Invincible and the boys, let's tell everyone about a new movie coming to theaters very soon. Normal. That's right. Normal in theaters tomorrow. From the creator of John Wick and Nobody comes the new movie Normal, a double-barreled shotgun blast of pure mayhem. We told you about this last week. It follows Bob Odenkirk. He's a sheriff named Ulysses who travels to the town of Normal, Minnesota. I believe the actual town on the map. And he finds out it is anything but normal. Things start going wrong. Things start going in a different direction. It's directed by Ben Wheatley. You've got Bob Odenkirk, Henry Winkler, and Lena Headey, who is Cersei. We mentioned that last week. So you got the Fonz and Cersei in the same movie. You've got an action neo-noir Western thriller with Bob Odenkirk in the lead. This is a must-see. In theaters this weekend. I'm very excited. I'll definitely be seeing it. Bob Odenkirk just doesn't lead me in the wrong direction pretty much ever.
Again, Bob Odenkirk, Cersei, the Fonz make you feel 3 very different emotions, but they are extremes. So you throw that all together, get some Wick, throw some Wick in the mix. Which, by the way, AJ the other day was like, he was dressing Mario in Super Mario Odyssey. He's like, he's dressed like John Wick. I'm like, John Wick's made it to 2nd grade now? All right, let's rock.
Got to be the Fortnite, right? Got to be Fortnite.
Yes, that's actually a good point. I didn't think about that. So, we'll be getting the normal skins in Fortnite down the road. So very excited. Yeah. Friends of the Basement here. Friends of the Basement.
Absolutely. Again, Normal in theaters starting tomorrow, April 17th. Get your tickets now at normalthemovie.com or wherever you get movie tickets. Shout out Normal. Thanks for sponsoring the pod. All right, Invincible, Season 4, Episode 7, the penultimate episode of Season 4. We've only got one more next week. What an episode this was. I almost feel bad for the boys this week, Clem, because they had another good episode, but they had to put up with this on the court at the same time as them, where Invincible's doing crazy shit. Where the battle at this episode, like the first half of the episode, very good. I like seeing the Thrag stuff. I like seeing the jump cut of him in the empty chamber and all of that stuff. Tremendous. By the time you get to the battle at the end and arms are getting ripped off and jaws are getting detached and heads are getting ripped off, my jaw was getting ripped off. My jaw was on the floor 10 feet away from me at the end of this episode. This was easily one of the best I think that this show has ever had. I don't even want to say the season, because I just couldn't believe what I was watching.
For the people listening, you don't even know, Bob is talking right now with only half a jaw. The other part of the jaw has been on the floor. People on YouTube have seen this the entire time. The man lacks a full jaw. He's
I don't have a jaw anymore.
He's jawless. He's jawless Bob. Jawless Bob instead of shoeless Joe. Jawless Bob.
That's the hashtag this week, Jawless Bob.
Jawless Bob. There we go. Perfect. I feel bad for this too. I feel bad. I kind of fucked up a little. So we have a text train, me, you, and KFC. And KFC's been catching up on Invincible. I think he thought he was a season behind. Then he found out he was like 2 seasons behind. So he's had to catch up on a whole bunch. And I'm thinking in my head, bro, you got to get caught up because this season right now is awesome, and you might get spoiled, or I just like having someone else to talk to about it. And then I was like, dude, are you caught up yet? And he's like, actually, I just got caught up. And I'm like, oh, good, because this week's episode, as in the one we're talking about right now, was awesome. And they're like, oh, I'm about to watch this. And for some reason, I thought you had already watched it, and I was like, shit, I don't want to I like when people have no expectations going in, because then you get a little more ramped up, and I'm not going to say expect.
I didn't mind that, though. I'll be honest. I didn't mind that one.
I don't like doing it. And hey, if it's happened to me, whatever, it's not spoiling anything, but I did feel bad. But nonetheless, when it's all said and done, you just I was going to say have a smile on your face, unless your jaw has fallen off. Then you only have so much room to have a smile on your face.
This even exceeded the expectations I had from that text, though. Like, you couldn't have hyped it enough, I feel like.
Well, at that point, I was like, we're just going to undersell and hope. I tried not to go too crazy because the way he had spoken, I was like, I bet he doesn't realize one just dropped. Yeah. That's why I said something the way I did, just so then he'd be like, oh shit, I gotta watch it. Because I want all these people getting into Invincible, get their teeth into it. I love when I see listen, I'm starting to get Invincible stuff on the algorithm timeline, but like the people I follow are occasionally into it, and that's when you get the good stuff. The Invincible Twitter, by the way, does a great job. They're the ones who posted the voices on there. They have a couple good memes they threw out, and I saw our boy Heavy Spoilers a couple weeks ago had been like Thrag explained, and I'm like, I don't really know much about the Thrag guy, but the fact he made a video, I feel like he's pretty fucking awesome. And then that was the Twitter thing they tweeted out, the Invincible Twitter. They said Thrag clearly addressed the fraud accusations.
Yeah.
Real deal.
How do you follow up Conquest? It's like you had Omni-Man, and then you had Conquest, and now we got Thrag, and they keep making these villains out to feel like the final boss. It's crazy. They keep one-upping themselves, basically. Back and forth Thrag by the end of this. I'm like, he's new public enemy number 1. Fuck Conquest. He was a bitch.
Yeah, he makes Conquest. And like the thing is, you go in being like, this is Conquest on his last legs, completely washed up, fucking has like robot part of his body, his eyes are fucked up. Like he just he's an old man. He literally has a gray beard, and it's like, and this guy Thrag is at the peak of his existence and has been training for this his whole life. It's quote our buddy Bob Odenkirk show he was in. It's like when you first meet Tuco, you're like, this guy is nuts. Yeah. And by the end of Breaking Bad, you're like, Tuco was a fucking walk in the park compared to the people we had.
I wish we were dealing with Tuco.
I just like to snort meth and say tight, right? This guy Thrag, holy shit. And the way it's the Viltrumites too. When we start out and he's like, all right, we have to like rid the weakness here, the potential moles, and they just like destroy their planet. It's just a
Royal Rubble. Go. That scene was even when he shows up to like order Craig down, like, no, it's done. Like that scene was fucking great. And then you're having that super intense, unbelievably violent, gory action intercut with Oliver being like, I actually like my mom's boyfriend Paul's spaghetti. And the way they're able to balance the tone in that is so crazy to me, but it works. It all works.
It all works perfectly. The Viltrumite, like you said, the Royal Rumble, Bob, when those fights are going on and then it starts raining blood.
Oh yeah.
Metal as fuck. The ring of dead Viltrumites. Metal as fuck. The music this episode, metal as fuck. Everything there it hit, man. It hit. Oh, dude, what an episode.
Like skipping to the end, you bring Space Racer in, and then it hits for me, and I'm like, oh, why wasn't I fucking thinking he's got the fucking most overpowered gun in the history of cinema? This is the guy we need to take down the planet. And then I realized what we're fucking Death Star in this thing. He's gonna shoot it. They're all gonna fly behind it. That was metal as fuck. Even the scene where they hit Space Racer's helmet, he's fucking starving. They put it back on. Like everything about this was metal as fuck. It was awesome. Thrag hits the biggest uppercut ever in the history of cinema on Nolan. When Space Racer comes in. I wrote, he's got the reverse Santa. He's got the, instead of reindeers in the front, he's got the dinos in the back, them ripping arms off and everything. I loved all of this. The uppercut from Alan when we hit him with the bug juice or whatever, and they're weakened. There was so much good in even just the final 20 minutes of this episode that I feel like I have a half a page of notes on the final 20 minutes of the episode.
First off, I got to say this. Space Racer, I owe you an apology. I was not familiar with your game. I don't even remember when Space Racer first came into our life and when we learned about this gun. But I learned by the end, there was no man I feared more than Space Racer. And that includes, I guess Thrag could basically dodge anything because he's quick and he's.
Yeah.
Like you
we
said,
saw his
final boss.
Move out of the way.
But man, and like you said, he brought the dinos. The dinos just went to work too. I was expecting that to kind of, because when you first realize it's a setup and you see that there's the living Viltrumites.
It's a trap.
It's a trap. And they're in the floating bodies. I was like, oh, fuck. And I was legitimately nervous. I was like,
I know. Same. When you see the girl hiding behind them at first, she's with the crazy ponytail. I forget what her name is. As soon as you see her, your heart goes, oh no. This is not good.
Maybe she's just dead. Maybe that was just her. They're just showing that she's dead. And it's like, oh no. Once you see the second and the third, that dude with the fucking eye too, garbage. Craig, is that his name? Garbage.
Craig or yeah.
He's
trash.
Terrible. Speaking of terrible, Oliver is basically the weak player in the video game you have to keep alive. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He is the worst. I am so over Oliver. And it's like every story arc, there's a part where then they have to get to Oliver, who almost just got killed. Get this guy. His life has to almost be done at this point, right? Don't they live 6 years? Get this guy.
Why is he so cocky too? He's like, he can't be that strong. It's like, where does that come from? Where does that thought come from, Oliver? Because you don't know what everyone else in this party knows. He's calling friggin' Thaddeus grandpa or whatever. When he walks out, he takes the robe off and he's got grandpa strength. He actually looked like that picture of J.K. Simmons in the gym. Remember when J.K. Simmons posted a picture of himself and everyone's like, why'd he get Jack to play Commissioner Gordon? You're going to be wearing a trench coat, bro. But Thrag ripping his fucking head off in front of everybody, insane. And the show, I will say, I don't even know if I could call it a criticism. I just don't know when anyone's dead at this point. Yeah. Because I've seen so many people go to the point where I'm like, all right, he's dead. And then they're absolutely fine. So it got to the point where he ripped Thaddeus's head off. And my first thought was, I wonder if he's dead. It's a little ridiculous to that level. We even get it later on. My note is, holy fuck, Nolan is dead. I was just completely, as soon as he gets gut punched, the weight of that moment felt like it was a death scene to me. I was like, this must be, I never saw this coming. This must be the end of this character. And then my mind, I was running through the rest of the season and going, oh yeah, he came to grips with, being a bad father, being a bad husband. He tried to make amends. That's kind of what you do right before an arc where you die or make a sacrifice or anything like that. And then he's just fine. He's completely fine. Oliver, I thought maybe he was dead. Bacta Tank, he's fine.
Bacta Tank, just chilling in the Bacta. And I did say, Mark did survive getting gutted, right? But at the same point, he wasn't floating through space. And listen, I'm not trying to figure out the science of it all, the biology, if you could survive in space with guts ripped out versus a planet. But I was like, oh, this feels like the end of him. And like you said, with his arc, and maybe now Mark is going to have to deal with the loss of a father and whatever we have coming up with Viltrumites. And then
as he's becoming a father, I thought about that too.
He was awake before Mark was.
Right? He literally, Mark woke up after getting his eyes squeezed in just a little bit. And he was just like, oh, yeah, it's taking you a couple weeks to wake up. My guts are spilled out all over space, but I'm fine.
And this is after Nolan, let's remember, got fucking punched down into a planet, then up back out of the planet. And granted, this was a great coincidence in timing for Invincible. But, man, I had the fucking, what's the name of it? The Artemis or the...
Oh, yeah.
They had the spaceship going through and you see it going through the atmosphere and you see him doing the same thing, getting heat. They kind of see them when they're going into the planet, following the laser. So I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. I feel like I got a little bit of this in real life, seeing which by the way, all the crazy stuff you go through as an astronaut, the last part where you have to basically free fall until the parachutes start going off has to be the craziest, most metal part about it.
And even the ship, I saw it when it landed in the ocean. It looked like it was torn apart like Apollo 13. Like at the end of that movie when it's all fucking on fire, I was like, oh, they haven't like made it to the point where like the ship isn't going to burst into, like, of course it's going to burst into flames. I thought it would still look pristine when it landed. It did not look pristine anymore. It looked like there was holes in it. I was like, are they okay in there? And then, yeah, they were all fine. They went back and like made funny videos with their dogs.
Everything's just fine. And I kind of got the thought of when I see Nolan going down, that's kind of like when Thanos pulls the moon towards Tony Stark.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like,
what a great scene that is.
Nolan got turned into that fucking moon and then he got hit back up. And our boy Thrag, allegations, do not use the F word towards him. Fraud is not a word you can use with Thrag.
Him ripping Oliver's arm off and hitting his jaw off at the same time. Awesome. I did think him keeping Mark alive in front of all the Viltrumites was very cool. And like, of course he has to do that. We know he's got the plot armor, but I thought the way he played it of like, there's only 40 of us left. Like, I'm not going to do it. Lets him float away. And then Mark's realization, or everyone's realization at the end of the episode, they're coming to Earth. That's next. That was another, like, we thought the oh fuck moment was we're going to their planet. The oh fuck moment is they're coming to our planet. Yeah. And again, it's a show that's just, it's one-upped itself so many times now in so many different ways, not just with the villains, but with the storyline, with the main Mark plot line. It's been an amazing season. I think this probably, as long as they land the plane, probably is the best season since 1.
Yeah, I that was my final note of the episode was I love the pace and I love the twist that this show gives us. And I do think season 2 was the one with that like halftime and then they disappeared and it felt disjointed, which was when I joined in. And again, but when you go back to season 1, where you're like, oh, this is like the League of the Justice League or whatever, and then he just Omni-Man just wipes them all out. You're like, what the fuck? And then obviously everything that's happened since to now. And if you just, I have to do like, I'll have to watch a recap video where it just gives me everything that's happened in 5 minutes, because we've had some just crazy twists and turns. Good guys have become bad guys have become good. And our boy Cecil, when he sees a bunch of Viltrumites coming, what's he going to do? He's like, dude, we barely could hang on with washed up Conquest. And does he have all the stuff that he was going to weaponize against Mark with the speakers, right? Or like those little clone of the dead people he was bringing to life? Like he has to use all the stuff he battle tested on Mark against these guys. They're
going to have to work together. It's going to be one of those like Mark and Cecil are going to have to learn to coexist here. It's WrestleMania, like before WrestleMania when they have the guys in a tag team together or something like that. WrestleMania this weekend, by the way. I'm wearing it doesn't feel like WrestleMania though. It's been a bad belt. So quick little wrestling corner with you right now, Bob. As someone that's been following through Twitter and someone that I would love to watch WrestleMania, and I heard I do not get it included with my YouTube TV for this year, so maybe next year. I have to say, I don't care that I'm not getting it because it's been such a negative vibe with the way they've kind of fucked up like the main event. Which, listen, this is the thing about WrestleMania is every so often they would always just have a main event. You're like, why the fuck is like Lawrence Taylor? And I'm a Giants fan. Why is Lawrence Taylor in the main event? It feels like, and the way the world is moving and you're getting it where it feels like you're doing corporate hookups for people. And listen, each their own. But like a Jelly Roll, you're like, why is Jelly Roll involved in this? Especially after last year, the biggest criticism of WrestleMania last year was, why is Travis Scott involved in the main event? And they said, oh, you didn't like a celebrity in the main event? Well, we're putting 2 in the main event this year, Pat McAfee and Jelly Roll. And I know McAfee's been around in wrestling, but like he's in there for the mainstream involvement. And I have nothing against McAfee. I just don't want him in the main. Like I Show Speed is in a 6-man tag earlier in the show. I'm fine with that. That's how I think celebrities should be involved in WrestleMania. Throw him in a 6-man tag. It's going to create a viral moment. You throw Tom Brady in the front row. He might smack Logan Paul. Like, I'm okay with all that shit. Keep him out of the main event, especially Cody Rhodes dealt with The Rock forcing himself into the main event 2 years ago. Then he dealt with Travis Scott forcing himself into the main event last year. Now he's dealing with them forcing Pat McAfee and Jelly Roll into the main event. Cody Rhodes can't catch a break. He can't have just a normal WrestleMania match anymore.
Could Cody and Orton have handled it on their own? They could have.
Oh my, Clem.
I don't know anything about Orton.
As Orton's protege, basically. They were in a faction together called Legacy, which was like the evolution of evolution. They have 20 years of history together. Cody Rhodes went on Shane Gillis's podcast this week. He goes, yeah, we had a lot of material about the 20 years of history between us, and then they threw Pat McAfee in. And Cody's like out there being like, everyone hates this McAfee stuff. It's the worst received storyline in wrestling history. Cody is saying that this week leading up to WrestleMania.
This is their first like real like big feud as like big timers like this too.
Yeah, and they've been teasing it for years, dude. They've had literally Orton. Like, they've been friends for the past couple of years, but Orton keeps looking at the title and shooting a look that all the fans go, "Oh, is he turning? Is he turning? Is he turning?" He finally turned, and they made it more about McAfee than Orton. And again, I have nothing against McAfee himself. It's the storyline that they're pushing is just. It's the first year that I don't like. Envy the people going. I'm sure the people, I'm not saying it's going to be a bad show. I actually think the matches on the card are going to be good. It just doesn't feel like a WrestleMania to me. And it's back in Vegas. I was in Vegas last year. It was like, it's weird to go back to the same city, same venue and everything. It'll be the first WrestleMania in the stadium era to not have at least 60,000 people each night. They're probably going to have about 45,000 people each night. Ticket sales were down. Like it doesn't feel that much like Mania. I'm totally fine sitting on the couch watching it on TV this year. And that's not usually how I feel. Like WrestleMania 39, I didn't go to, and I was like, "Oh my god, I wish I was there." But yeah,
that was wrestling.
Me and Carabas will probably do a from the top rope afterwards anyway. And again, I don't think it'll be bad. Like I think it's very hard for a WrestleMania to be bad. There's a lot of matches on there's a crazy fucking ladder match, like a 6-person ladder match on the card. It's going to be insane. People are going to be thrilled about that. Obafemi versus Brock Lesnar. It's probably going to be a great hoss battle. You've got Seth Rollins versus Gunther. It's probably going to be good. CM Punk versus Roman Reigns. I don't see how that's going to be a bad match. So it's a weird vibe more than it's a bad card. It was a bad build more than it's a bad card, I would say.
That's the thing about WrestleMania. Usually the vibes are great around it, or not all the time, but it's like at the very least, it's like it's fucking WrestleMania. It's like you wake up in the springtime and it's warm, the pollen's gone. You're like, man, it's just pleasant outside. That's kind of how WrestleMania should feel. It's usually around this time as well. So that's a bummer. Again, it's someone that I took AJ to $20 high school wrestling.
Oh yeah, you went.
It was awesome. It was very low budget and got to the point where they couldn't find the national anthem on the DJ's laptop, and everyone just started singing it on their own.
Oh,
and
nice!
It was kind of like a sweet moment.
USA.
Yeah, exactly. And AJ got to
is he into it?
He's into it for sure. He was like, chomping on his fingernails. He was like, oh, and he's screaming. So,
1, 2, oh,
yeah,
doing that stuff. Yeah, it's the best.
It was very cool. By shit luck, WWE Next happened to be the night before that. If it had been the night after or the week after, I would have done that, and then we would have had potentially a growing fan on our hands. But I think he'll become a fan moving forward. So that's cool. Then again, I need WWE to get their shit together here, so we're not having Wrestling Corner.
Could make an AEW kid. AEW's been on a roll.
Has it? Okay.
Yeah.
Good to know. Good to know.
All right, let's get into The Boys, season 5, episode 3. Again, I feel bad because it's The Boys' final season. We're in the home stretch, and we should be talking about this like it's front page news. I thought this was a good episode, but not necessarily, even what Daredevil or Invincible was this week. I would put it third on the list of shows this week. But again, it's good stuff, and I would say, exceeded my expectations going into this season. I don't know why I necessarily went into the season so trepidatious, but I did, and all this stuff was good. The cameos we're bringing back. We have, when we see the previously on The Boys, and it's a lot of season 1 stuff, it's like, okay, we're going to be tying up some loose ends here, I think. And you get Maverick, Translucent Sun, being a focal point of the big episode. You got a Stillwell cameo. You get Stan Edgar coming back, Giancarlo Esposito. So there was enough there where it did feel like it had the final season, just like aura about it.
Yep, the tones of a final season for sure. Honestly, all the translucent stuff kind of made me reminisce and long for like the season 1. I like the season 1 vibes more than I like it now. Again, maybe it's the way that the world season 1 was mimicking was maybe a little more fun than the world's this season's mimicking. But yeah, it definitely took me right back. To be honest though, the Maverick stuff just didn't land. It was like, I don't know if it was the way the actor was talking. Like it was like, who killed my father? Homelander killed my father. It was very
I did like that stuff. I would say I like that stuff the most in this episode, maybe, to be honest.
I just didn't like the way he was setting it up. I'm like, oh, so we're gonna find out. You're gonna find out. Huey killed your father, like we all know. But Huey even saying like, what do you say, like cold like spin zone. I killed my dad too. I was like, Jesus.
Yeah. The way Huey like initially met him, I think might have been my favorite scene when he shows up. He's like, "What's up, playa?" And
Yeah.
Huey's like, "What's up, playa?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, fucking motherfucker."
Fucking motherfucker. Yeah, that
Yeah.
the motherfuckers had me rolling.
That was funny. Yeah.
Mango tropical storm or whatever they called it.
That like basically the axe that he was
Yeah.
the spokesman for, and that getting him caught by the Deep was also very funny. I think the hardest laugh I had is when they cut to the Cybertruck with Roland Limp Bizkit and it's the Deep driving it with Black Noir. Like that stuff is, yes, it's so on the nose, but it's perfect. I also do agree with you about the season 1 vibe. I was talking to Hubs about it in the office this week, and we were both saying the scene where, you know, they have Translucent in captivity and Homelander, they see him on the security footage, and then they got to cause the distraction, everything. There was such a fear because they felt so inequipped to handle Homelander. And at this point, they are a little more equipped to handle Homelander. We've, you know, seen him through the seasons multiple times run in with Huey. We saw him in the beginning of this season run in with Huey and Butcher and everything. Butcher's got the V now. We've got more of a squad. We've got more firepower on the boys. And I think the show had to progress in that way, but I think it loses a little bit of the like, oh my God, anything can happen vibe because of that.
And again, now Butcher is a soup in his own right, and there have been changes, but
yeah,
I just enjoyed that a bunch. Which again, but I do think like they're moving here. Again, I don't think the pacing or the twists are what Invincible is, but it's like we're moving right now. And Bob, you like needle drops. When we got that needle drop in the beginning, was it Bad Reputation?
The Bad Reputation, which was like the Spanish version of it, I think. Very funny. And then the ending, getting the Bob Dylan in My Time of Dying, that was like, the first one was like, oh, funny needle drop. And the next one was like, I have chills. This is awesome. Oh my God. Like the Ryan stuff was very well handled in this episode. I wrote the beginning with Ryan in the dark mansion and we've got the flashlights and everything. Felt like if they took the beginning of X2 in a completely gory direction when he's just fucking slicing and dicing and everything. The I love Imagine Dragons line because I didn't see that coming. Then you get the pro-Russia, anti-Ukraine video from the Seven. Very on the nose of what they're doing there, obviously. And he announces Soldier Boy as his father in the title card. They're America's sexiest dynasty, according to People magazine, I think. And then I like the back and forth of like, you threw me into a wood chipper. Like, what the fuck was that all about? But it not working on Gen 1 heroes. And then the rush to like, is there any vials out there? And the cuts back and forth of there might be vials out there. No, there's no vials left. Well, can we get to a vial before Homelander gets to it? I did like all of that stuff. I thought that was good. Giancarlo Esposito popping back up in Mother's Milk, being like, you got to stop sulking like Black Mr. Spock. That was a funny line.
Black Mr. Spock had me rolling.
That was good.
The entire run.
Mother's Milk has had a good season this so far.
He got those stogies now too. He's a very happy man with his stogies.
Him and Stan Edgar smoking together. Yeah.
Like in the beginning of the episode, I'm like, that's like Chekhov's V1. You know, that's going to play a role. And then like the entire episode was devoted. I'm like, I should have known that's going to be what this season is the race for the V1 and who's going to take it morally. What should you do? You kind of got that a lot with, what's the girl?
Starlight take it? Should Kamiko take it?
Kamiko, yeah, exactly. So it's going to be very interesting to see how that all pans out if and when the virus does spread. I got to say this too. I think we might have said it last week. The dude who plays Soldier Boy is awesome. He's just
Jensen Ackles. Awesome.
Yeah. Awesome. And like
Homelander was real good in this episode. I mean, he's always good, but like Homelander's facial reactions losing it when it's like his face is like contorting in ways where I'm like, I don't even know if face could contort that way. The stuff with the cameo from Stillwell coming back was like so strange, but also perfectly Homelander. Him taking the bath in the breast milk. Oh, so disgusting. Just disgusting.
Elizabeth Shue stuff. She's coming back as this weird angel thing, right? With that was the entire, and now he was drinking milk out of like the tumbler. I'm like, what the fuck is going? Like we're really going really on the nose with the breast milk stuff, which maybe it's just his way of he is like what's the word I'm looking for? Coping. That's his coping mechanism.
Yeah,
breast milk stuff. And now that his dad's back in, and she was like the mother figure to his life, which then the other mother figure in his life, our boy Soldier Boy, takes back. Is like, I would basically just do this for revenge. When he takes
and she's like, huh. That's fucked up. I wouldn't do such a thing.
Yeah.
That was good. And then he has that line where he's like, I haven't banged like that since Sherry Lewis in Studio 54. And I was like, that name sounds familiar to me, but I don't know it right away. And I Googled Sherry Lewis. She was a ventriloquist for like sock puppets and whatnot. It's like, what a name to bring up. Like her grandchild, is she still around? Like, she hear that and be like, what the fuck? Like, the Sherry Lewis died in 98. So, you know, I hesitate to say too soon, but I was just like, man, they straight up named a real celeb there.
So he mentioned her at first when he was talking about shitting on her tits, right?
Yeah.
And then he talks about banging her at Studio 54. And I didn't look her up. I meant to. I forgot to. I just looked her up. So this is a live reaction.
Look like a wholesome lady. I don't know anything about her, but come on, Soldier Boy.
So to the millennials like myself that do know this woman, but people that didn't Google her, this is the girl that did Lamb Chop. And Lamb Chop was a little lamb puppet, and she would sing like, it was like Barney level nursery rhymes and stuff. Yeah. I didn't need to know this is who he was talking about like that. Too soon. Died almost 30 years ago. Still too soon, Soldier Boy. Good Lord.
Tough. That was tough. Yeah. Kimiko and Frenchie stand up to Butcher. Ryan walks out on him right afterwards too, when he's trying to get Ryan to be a fucking martyr. That scene was a little fucked up as well. Huey and Maverick get into a fight. Not before they sent Maverick in with the grenade, right? And the Deep tells him the truth. And the Deep, such good delivery from this guy. No cap, on God, bro.
Yeah, that was, dude. I realized the Deep is so good at what he does, where he just plays that guy, right? Capital T, that guy. He used that from the Cybertruck all the way to the way.
Him throwing the grenade in with Black Noir being like, don't hate the player. Like, that stuff is so good.
And that was the Deep that I loved, was that kind of the Deep. Yeah. And I know he did, part of his story was like the going bull, you know, the feeling both sides, and the stuff with the octopus was absolutely hilarious.
The gills, yeah.
Right? So that's a great character. Is that Chase, the actor's name?
Crawford? Is that his name? Chase Crawford, so. Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
He's tremendous.
Hilarious.
Then Huey and Maverick get into the fight where Starlight thinks that Cindy explodes Huey, so she goes and fucking snaps her neck like Man of Steel Superman, and then realizes no, Huey's fine. He stands up, and then she winds up leaving Huey by the end of the episode. She's like, this was much safer when you weren't around, which, like, well, yeah, but we're in the end game now, Starlight, so he is around. You know, it's like, it's season 5, that's when you decide that he can't be around again. Like, he's gonna be around, all right? And I don't know how they're gonna go we get the Ryan Homelander scene.
Yep.
Who are they going to let kill Homelander? You would imagine someone's going to get to kill Homelander this season. Is it Butcher for all that stuff? Is it Ryan for the stuff about his mom? When he's like, I don't even want to say the R word on this podcast. I don't like the way it comes out. That scene. Or do they give it to Huey for the ultimate revenge? I almost think it goes to Ryan or Butcher. I think if it goes to Butcher, there's either a self-sacrifice going on, or there's like a heel turn of some sort. Like, is there any way Butcher kills Homelander and becomes the big bad that Huey has to then kill?
Ooh, I like that.
I don't know if that would, I don't know if it would be rushed. I don't know how much time you have to get through that. Like, if you kill Homelander in the penultimate and leave us with that of like, what the fuck is the finale? I've seen some people suggesting similar things that I think could be cool.
Because you're also dealing with a guy who has like the mortality. He's recognized it. He knows he's only has so much time left, and that boy's brain has been cooked because his dad was such a vile piece of shit. Right? He buried. He's under the Timbs now, which I had done it earlier. What a line that was. Someone else said Butcher's dialogue. I made a note. It said it's like when you want to make your character mean in a video game, you always choose like the mean answer. Like, he's always the worst possible option. That's funny. Is something. Also, the Kimiko stuff with she's just saying all the porn stuff. You're just like, whoa, what is that? She was like, I think we need to take it easier on the porn.
Yeah. Chill out. Yeah.
I'm gonna throw another person here. So we're gonna have. Would you say Butcher's the favorite or Ryan's the favorite?
I like a combination of them working together. Maybe is the favorite. I would even say.
I'll put Butcher as the favorite. I'm trying to think like a book would put.
Yeah, Butcher probably is the favorite.
Huey third. I do think Soldier Boy, because he does have the soup ability as well. And
yeah, is Starlight on the board too? She probably is, right?
Yeah, fuck, you got to put Starlight on the board. Yeah, it's made her this like fucking just crazy terrorist, like the face of the terror.
Maybe it has to be a Guardians 3 type thing where it's like finisher, finisher, and then we throw him over the top rope and he's out of the Rumble. Like you almost need everyone to get their lick in, right? To make it make sense. And then we have fucking Gen V kids that at the end of their season, they were like, we're going to kill Homelander. They're going to be involved too.
I'm going to go off the board here. Sage. She's like, this has to end here. She does the computations. She'll probably be the one that like turns on him that allows all this to happen.
True.
But I could see that going down as well. And these episodes are pretty big. So there's plenty of time for everything to get wrapped up.
Yeah. And we're only on 3 now. And it does feel like we're, again, in the end game. Like it feels like things are fucking going down we're on a, what do they call that thing? A toboggan? We're on a fucking toboggan.
No, Bob, we're on bobsled. We're on the bobsled.
Yeah,
this is moving quick, and it's the Swiss bobsled, which, as we all know, is the fastest bobsled, as Cool Runnings taught us once upon a time. All-time quote I had to write down from Soldier Boy: "You're just the softest, wettest boy." That got him so good. That took him right to the heart. You're just the softest,
a fistful of razors. He had some kind of line. I'd rather fist myself with a fistful of razors or something. At one point, he said.
Oh, these characters do have a way with words. I will say that.
And now we're going after deceased kids that had their rib cage ripped open or something Frenchie knew about.
Oh, yeah, like the Cub Scouts or something like that at this place. I don't even want to know where that's going.
Yeah, they said that. I was like, all right, I'll handle that next week.
That's next week's problem. That's what I was going to say.
That's next week. That's future me problem.
Rob and Clem's problem to deal with. That is our hurdle.
Good stuff, though, across the board. Do we want to give a winner again to the Nerd Week? Who won this week for you? Daredevil, Invincible, The Boys.
I would say it wasn't even close. I think it's Invincible, and I'm putting Invincible as the betting favorite for next week as well because it's the finale. It's almost unfair, but I do feel like they are on another plane of existence right now to these two shows. Is that fair to say? I don't want to like make it seem like the other two are not good, but I just feel like Invincible's in a great arc right now, where the other two are in good arcs. And I do think Daredevil's going to get there, and I obviously think the Boys can get there if it's the series finale. But I feel like Invincible is there. They've already warmed up the car. It's been moving, and now we have punched it, and God knows what the fuck and anything can happen because the way that show, the pacing and the twists, they go at a different level than almost anything I've seen on TV.
I'm with you. I'm going Invincible, but Daredevil's a lot closer for me than I think it is for you. I think the gap between Daredevil and The Boys is a lot bigger than the gap between Invincible and Daredevil this week alone. Where Daredevil, I felt pretty blown away by the end of the episode. I think a big part of that was the Netflix Daredevil vibes they injected into this week. But I do have to give it to Invincible because nothing left my jaw on the floor like that by the end of it.
Yeah, you are talking right now without a jaw because of Invincible, like we said. I will say this about The Boys. I feel like it's a little unfair to compare the two, or the three. However, in its defense, the car is now warmed up. It's at the point where like not only is the car like good to drive, but it's like the air is coming out warm. Right. So it's like it's warmed up. The brakes aren't even squeaking because it's like that early morning, still wet from the night before. Like we're on the road now. We're moving. We're cruising out. We're at cruising speed. Everything is good. Everything's warmed up.
Yeah. There's no traffic.
No traffic. No traffic. No traffic on the road. But the other two are just in different points of their show, season wise and whatever. And I also think The Boys, if you told me what's going to have the highest, oh, fuck, I almost think The Boys could be like the favorite for that when you say all seasons are done. If you watch them all at the same time, at the same moments, episode 1, episode 2, I think The Boys could have the biggest oh fuck stuff.
I've heard The Boys gets crazy. I've heard Daredevil gets crazy with like oh fuck stuff at the end. Invincible obviously is going to have some oh fuck stuff. So I think we're on big time oh fuck watch.
Big time oh fuck watch. By the way, when I saw Viltrum become like very Mustafar, I go, oh no, it's happening now. We're gonna
oh yeah. And the final battle.
Yeah, and they have left enough in that title screen card where that last part of the glass is going to be gone, and I feel like we might be losing our boy Mark. Good guy Mark might be gone by the end of that. I'm really concerned about that next week.
And by the way, Art needs to figure out how to friggin' put together a suit that doesn't disintegrate. Just every time he makes a suit for Mark, it's gone.
Well, this is the biggest thing. Build the, like they always say, build the whole plane out of the black box. Build the whole suit out of like the underpants.
Out of the pants?
Of the Viltrumites. It's unbreakable. And I meant to say this during the Invincible part. What's the betrayer guy's name? Thaddeus?
Thaddeus,
whatever. I think he was going to have to get God anyway, because I think he was going to be turning on Mark and Oliver after we got rid of the Viltrumites. I don't like the way he was kind of looking at them, and there was a couple like hints.
Yeah.
I think he was going to be like, we got to get rid of all Viltrumites except for myself. I did not trust that motherfucker. So
he is the betrayer.
But he is the betrayer. Literally his name.
Good stuff. Shout out to everyone who listened this week. We will be back next week with more. Obviously, the Invincible finale, the Daredevil episode 6, right? We're on 6 then. Yeah. And The Boys episode 4, the mid-season point of The Boys. I think they have 8 this season as well. So I'm excited.
Mid-ultimate.
Yeah. Mid-ultimate. I like that. And we'll see you next week. We'll also see you on Monday for more Mall Shadow Lord.
Get those adjectives ready, Bob.